just an energy level situation? Was a loss of confidence? Just generally, what would you explain this to me?
I didn't like our first half with the turnovers. I think we had 10, and that's the key to the whole series is our ball security. And so the 10 turnovers in the first half got us off to a rough start. With that said, we're down 2 going into the fourth. And I thought the key play was the 4-point play to start the quarter. And that's on us as a staff. We've got to be we got to make sure they're matched up. And, they just threw it. We didn't guard Van Vliet. They threw it up the floor, and he knocks it down and gets the free throw. And that felt like a game-changing play because, it's, like I said, 2-point game. We're right where we need to be despite not having played very well and turned it over quite a bit.
Steve, do you see a common thread or commonality with the turnovers? That's such a big issue. Is there something that's similar between them? Or
We have the 3 wins in this series. We're averaging, I think, 10 or 11 turnovers. So it's just we're in a rush. We got to slow down a little bit.
With that being said, I mean, there was the 4-point play, but I think you guys missed like 14 of 15 shots in the fourth quarter. What happened offensively, would you say, during that stretch?
Well, they were in a zone. They played Adams quite a bit, and he's at the center of that zone, kind of a 2-1-2. I thought we got some good looks against the zone. But then once they pulled away by 10 or 12, it was easier for them to run us off the line. We had a lot of openings, but they were using their length to run us off the 3-point line, knowing that we had to make threes to get back in it. And I thought they did a good job of kind of running us off the line and keeping us from, knocking down threes to get us back in the game.
It would kind of seem outside looking in that you guys, your issues are not being able to solve this zone, but from some of your answers, it sounds like you feel okay about what you're getting against it. I mean, like, do you go to Game 7, believing that you can? Like, how much change do you think is needed against the zone, or not?
How much change?
Yeah, how you're attacking it, personnel, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's, playing zone offense is really about getting the ball to open space and then filling behind the play and moving the ball. And like I said, we've had a lot of good zone possessions in this series. And I thought we had some tonight, but, I think we'll do a better job in Game 7. We've got another tape to watch, and, we'll see some things. But, it's definitely been a factor. Adams was fantastic tonight. 31 minutes, probably the most he's played, in a couple of years. But he was so effective that Ime kept him out there, and they controlled the game while he was out there. We fouled him, and then they got a couple of rebounds after his missed free throws too. So that wasn't very effective ultimately. So we got some things that we can clean up. We got a Game 7 though, and we're excited about that.
Coach, 37 from 90 from the field, 15 for 49 from beyond the arc. Do you think fatigue played a role in that?
No, I don't think fatigue was a factor.
Obviously, Game 7, maybe everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table for Game 7, for sure.
Yeah, given some of the struggles maybe some of the other guys are having, even taking a shot, but definitely making them. I know it would be a lot to ask a guy who hadn't played a lot. Is Jonathan Kuminga on the table to play?
100%, he's on the table. This. We've kind of found a formula here in the latter part of the season, and we've stayed with that formula to start the series up 3-1. Things are going well, and then obviously the last 2 games have gone very poorly. We have to assess everything and lineup combinations, starters, all of that we have to assess, and we feel like we got a great chance to go down there and win Game 7.
Steve, as the Rockets kept answering your comebacks, it looked like certain guys were starting to show signs of frustration. Draymond, Pods. I mean, is that an issue for you guys right now, just trying to stay together?
Staying together will not be an issue. This team has been connected and has been through everything. There's no question the frustration tonight set in. I could see it, the body language. We can't have that. We can't afford that in Game 7. We've got to stay tight whole way through. And like I said, I like our chances. I've seen what this group can do over the years. We've been in a lot of Game 7s, I believe, and had a lot of success. Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Butler. I mean, he's been in, all of these games and is one of the clutch performers in the league. So we'll get ready. We'll regroup and be ready to roll.
Van Vliet has been super hot past few games.
Yeah.
What have you seen defensively against him, and what could you guys change to?
Well, we started Gary because of Fred. The last 2 games, he was 12 for 18 from 3. Tonight, I got hot again, 6 for 9. Tonight, it felt like offensive boards and kickouts. I thought we handled the pick and roll stuff much better than last game, and so it didn't feel like he was getting his threes on, on pick and roll action. It was more, second chance opportunities. They got some offensive boards, kicked it out. They had 19 points off second chance. I think he had a couple threes off those.
Steve, you've played 5 Game 7s in the Steph era, I think 4 of them with you. Anything from those games that you can use as sort of lessons and reminders? And it's pretty quick turnaround after 2 disappointing losses.
Yeah.
What's the challenge in sort of mentally recharging in 48 hours for your season's on the line?
That's the goal. That's the key, right? Starts right now. Players, getting hydrated and getting their rest tonight, and coaches figuring out, what our adjustments will be, and we'll get on the plane tomorrow and we'll be ready to go. I can tell you, our guys are going to be excited, and as I said, I have every confidence that they can get this done.
And can you describe briefly sort of how the vibe's different in Game 7? I mean, there's obviously intensity through all these series,
Yeah.
but when it gets to Game 7, what's that like?
It just feels slower. It feels like most Game 7s are kind of rock fights. There's a different vibe. There's a nervous vibe with the home crowd, and there's just a sense of, all right, we're finally here. It's been 2 weeks, and both teams throwing haymakers at each other and all that, and it's why people love watching them at home. Game 7s are special, and they're fun to be a part of.
Quentin had, I think, 5 fouls in 17 minutes. It seemed like they were kind of going at him a little bit. How difficult are you seeing this series kind of become for him in the way that they're kind of attacking him?
Yeah, I thought he handled himself pretty well defensively in the first half. Second half, he got the 2 fouls, I think late third, early fourth, where he came over to help. He was a half step late, and he got the blocking calls. And so we'll watch the tape, and we'll try to help him out on that. But Quentin's been great for us. This second half of the season, and a very important player for us. And I won't hesitate to put him out there in Game 7 if I think that's the right call.
Steve, you told us why you went to Gary to control Fred.
Yeah.
Offensively, with Gary and Draymond being out there together, potentially some spacing issues,
Yeah.
how do you think that unit looked?
Well, that's the equation for us. We have to make these decisions. Every coach has to make decisions based on offense, defense. Gary has shot it really well. I think coming into tonight, he was 45% from 3. He's been making the corner 3 in this series. So we felt like the gamble was worth it to put him on Fred, and we knew that taking Brandon out would hurt us a little bit in terms of flow and playmaking, but that was the gamble we took. I don't think it hurt us too badly, but Fred got going anyway, and so in the end, we have to reassess that one and other decisions as well.
Steve, Draymond and Steph have played in 5 of these games each, and then Jimmy has 4. And then on the other side,
Game 7s.
Game 7s. The other side, they have 4 guys that have played a combined total of 10 Game 7s. From your experience, where does the Game 7 playoff experience factor in the most when you're in those type of games?
You mean what aspect of the game?
In the Game
or?
7, yeah. Having been through those, when you have that type of experience.
Just confidence, belief. I know our guys believe, and they'll be ready to go. Thank you.